Hi, welcome to the Enterbuckle book review of Namor, the Submariner. This is Who Strikes for Atlantis, Thomas, Marie Severin and John Buscema. This is volume 3 and includes 512 pages, bigger than generally epic collections. This is volume 3, 1968 to 1970, and it's just come out. So you've got here the stories Submariner 4 to 27, and then there's the ISBN code there. Hopefully you can see that. Really nice book, colour of course all the way through. Of course there's some bonus material, not a huge amount, there's about 5 or 6 pages of bonus black and white illustrated inked pages that really are quite nice, of course, covers and pages inside. Now I've got volume 1 here. This is an odd one, it's quite a thin one, only contains really sadly some of the tales to astonish, only 70 to 76. I assume volume 2 of course will be coming out soon and will contain all those stories. So you've got that, but you've got a lot of other stories that have been done in previous epic collections as well. But still, let's get on to this one. Absolutely lovely. All the stories are great. There you can see also there's some weird ones because you've got like the Destiny story there, number 7. This was November 1968. Unfortunately, the stories of Destiny were also, of course, in volume 1, volume 2. So you've got a bit of a sort of disconnect with the story. And that Serpent Crown story does follow all the way through. There's lots of things like Naga character with the Serpent Crown as well. But you've got Dorma. And Dorma turns up quite a lot. Lady Dorma. And you've got... Now, this story did strike me very much like a Silver Surfer story. Number 6, the Overlord one. But still, it's very, very good. Really great artwork all the way through, of course. But quite a lot of this book is not John Buscema, but Marie Severin. So you've got some of the early first 4 or 5 John Buscema, then it changes to Marie Severin. But you've got lots of different inkers. And there's like Vince Coletta and many others. Johnny Craig, really brilliant. Vince Coletta, no. This is a great one. Look at, I mean, they did some really great covers and they did some really awful covers as well. I mean, some of the early ones were just very dramatic, but then they sort of lost the way. Maybe, of course, you can't do every cover looking like that. But some of the early covers, like issue 6, 7 and 8, were just brilliant. But the Tiger Shark, great character, because obviously got someone that's equally powerful as Submariner there. And again, Dorma as well. Now, this is the Destiny one. Again, it sort of just seems a bit odd because the way the storyline was obviously in the other volume, which we haven't got as yet. I wish they had done that. I wish they had brought out volume 2. I don't know why they brought this one out. And then volume 3. Especially when you've only got 5 in the entire set. Why not bring them out in order? To leave one just seems a bit odd. But still. This one's great. Classic cover again. Number 8. And that's In the Rage of Battle. John Buscema, of course, again. Roy Thomas. Dan Adkins, inker. Superb. Classic tale. The Spell of the Serpent. Again, the Serpent Crown keeps turning up. And I mean, that's a dramatic cover. The Spell of the Serpent. I mean, you can't beat that, can you? Number 9. And again, just brilliant artwork. This time, though, Marie Severin. Dan Adkins. I'm not certain who did the cover. I assume the cover probably, because it doesn't have that same look as John Buscema. So it's just, I guess that, but it's still brilliant. Brilliant tale with Naga. And this Serpent Crown turns up all over the place. Of course, in multi-universe and all that sort of. It continues, the storyline continues well on. You've got lots of course, very nautical themes here. Barracuda. And of course, you've got Orca turns up later. And also the Stalker as well, who is obviously not very nautical at all. But still, what a great cover that one is as well. They did have some really great covers early on. Some of the covers, though, are pretty awful. The Choice and the Challenge, of course, that Gene Colan one, absolutely brilliant. The Gene Colan, absolutely great artwork. The Mighty Submarine, Twixt the Devil and the... However, this one's an odd one. Look at that bit of artwork. It's very unusual. But I'm not certain who H. Cooper is. Letterer. Not the inker. I don't know who the inker is. I assume the inker was Marie Severin. I guess that's why it doesn't say who the inker is. Got a very odd cover. That cover just does not really do it very justice. Of course, it's got no text on as well, which is unusual. Back in the 1970s, 1960s, most covers had text on. If you go through quite a lot of these ones, they've all got dramatic text, but that one doesn't. Though saying that, the next one doesn't have text either. It's always the way, isn't it? When you ever say anything like that, again, the Serpent Crown. Of course, you've got Dorma there again. The Tournament of Doom, no less. Now, that character was a pretty useless character as well. He's got the ultimate powers and yet doesn't really particularly use them very well. This one, slightly deceptive cover, brilliant cover again. Namor versus the Human Torch. And there's my theory about the covers with text on. all completely gone, because there's definitely some of the early ones definitely have text, and I'll probably look again and they don't have either. They don't have. Okay, that's wrong. No, but they at least have the blurb. They don't normally have the blurb so much now. But you've got there Human Torch. But, well, I must admit, when I first saw this, when it came out, I thought it was the Human Torch, the Fantastic Four Human Torch. Of course, I mean, why would I know any other? I mean, it doesn't particularly look like the Human Torch character, so that's a big clue. Burn, Namor, burn, as it says there. School of Prehistoric Fish. And you've got a lovely, I love that. That's a great look there. He's got all the various characters, virtually the entire Marvel universe at that point, with Sergeant Fury, X-Men, Spidey, etc. No Daredevil, fortunately, turning up in that. But still, this probably has the worst art of all of it. This is a Marie Severin one, but it's inked by Vince Coletta. Now, most of the time, I really like Vince Coletta's artwork. I mean, do you like Vince Coletta's artwork? Please put comments. Maybe I shouldn't even mention Vince Coletta. I know sometimes a lot of people don't particularly like. And also, will you be getting this book? Have you ever any intention of getting the Submariner Epic Collection? Have you been buying any other Epic Collections recently? I must say, my Epic Collections, I've slowed down buying quite. There hasn't been so many coming out that I think, oh, I must get. And quite a lot of them, I look at the prices have gone up crazily. Really have. They've gone up so much that I get to the point I think I'm going to wait till they maybe get a little bit cheaper, because some of them I've seen about £47, £48 coming out. I think that's a lot for an Epic Collection. So I'll wait for they come down to about 24, 26, which is a more realistic price, I think, for this sort of volume. But still. So have you been buying many Epic Collections as well? Or has that sort of thing been sort of... Of course, like I said, for me, I love most of the material from the 60s and the 70s. A lot of that material has now been covered in the Epic. There's a few ones that, of course, my favourite topics, which I've gone on about, Captain Savage, still no Epic Collection. Why not? And others. But it's... So, The Day of the Dragon. Getting back to this, because of the artwork. The artwork, there's some good artwork. It's fine in places. But poor old Dragon Man. Maybe Dragon Man's not the best to carry. The Grim Gargoyle. No, that would have been a great name. Maybe not the Grey Gargoyle, but you've got the Grim Gargoyle. But the artwork, I think, is truly awful. Some really scratchy looking work there. I don't know. Didn't do much for me, that one. But this is a classic. I love this one. The Sea That Time Forgot. And this one is by, you see the inker, again, a different inker. And the story is brilliant because of that. Just really good, but it's just great. Got Tiger Shark. I didn't even notice it was Tiger Shark. I just thought, what a great, just that face on there. But it was only just when, of course, looking through the story, you think, oh, yes, it's got Tiger Shark in. But still. But it's a nice twist in the course and tale. One that's pretty obvious, so I'm not even going to say. Now, this character's pretty useless, the Star Stalker character. I don't know if I've done Star Stalker one before. I think Hulk, there was a character like the Star Stalker as well. Wasn't particularly impressed in that one. Side by side, but this is nice. I don't know why Triton didn't turn up more often in Submariner. Really quite, it would have been a good sort of... There's no reason why he couldn't have done. They had like Stingray as well, another character. Gain would have been nice to have had. I always think that you don't want just a singular character sometimes. Obviously, you've got Lady Dorma, you've got sort of other people. But it would have been nice that Triton would have turned up a few more times. But he does turn up in this one. Though I'm not so... Oh, Inca again, the same there. This is brilliant. This one, I love this. Support your local Stingray. You've got Stingray. Not the world's greatest, it's very unusual way, that bend of the... Nothing can stop the Stingray, other than obviously Submariner, but still. But it does have Johnny Craig, who I think is just one of the best. I really love his artwork. It really just, straight away, when I got this, I thought, oh, wow. And you can really see it more so than... Actually, I've got the original comic as well. When you see it here, it really just sort of jump out. Johnny Craig, I just loved it. Absolutely loved this. Really, really good story. Again, Triton, obviously. And then the next story, real classic, Doctor Doom. And I've got this, the original. So here's the original. You can see the cover there. Now, obviously, slightly brighter, actually, my cover. The red is slightly toned, which is weird, considering the most time, I always think of most of the epic ones, very, very more saturated. This looks actually slightly more saturated in the original, but it's fairly close. Yeah, I think. But however, let's just get to the actual pages. So you can see here. I'll just go to the second page because That's probably not a good example, seeing there in the darkness dwells doom. Let's just turn that over so you can see it. And there, you can see the original and thing. Obviously, you can see the difference there. Definitely more. But I think it's very, very, very sharp. Looks great, looks fine to me. I can't say I can really any sort of complaints about never as he crashes through all the various people. And you certainly, when you look at it and compare it, you can sort of look at the line. It's slightly different. There's slight differences. Of course, it's missing the continued after the next page. Why didn't they include that as well? That would have been nice, wouldn't it? But they didn't. But it's got Doctor Doom in. Good old Doctor Doom. You can't beat good old Doctor Doom. Of course, would Submariner trust Doctor Doom as far as he could throw him? He's always treated him badly. There's always like, oh, I'm your friend now. I'm a really nice guy. Have a drink. All that sort of stuff. Yeah, sure. Another one, brilliant one. Really poor cover. Not so keen on that cover. The Invaders Strike. But however, the invasion from ocean floor. But that's brilliant. Look at that. Johnny Craig again. The rain there. Just absolutely brilliant. Really lovely artwork all the way through that story. Also on to the next one, which is really brilliant. The Monarch and the Mystic, Doctor Strange. Now this was, of course, the original start point for the Defenders. Defenders stories, there was a couple of these stories that went with the Hulk, Silver Surfer, and then, of course, Marvel feature story, and then on to the Defenders series itself. Are you a mega fan of Defenders? I love Defenders, and this is probably one series of the Epic collection, so I'm really looking forward to finally getting all of the epics for that, because I didn't buy the omnibus editions. So have you buying the Defenders one? If you're gonna get that one, you're gonna get epics, or you're gonna just go for the omnibus collections, or you're not interested in Defenders at all. It's possible. Not interested in Defenders, then you're not going to get them at all. But this one, Monarch and the Mystic, lovely story. I loved it when it came out. I've got the issue, and it's just great. It always feels sort of like H.P. Lovecraft. I think they always say R.E. Howard, but to me, it always had that sort of H.P. Lovecraft feel. A sort of odd, sort of. Yeah, the gods, the undying ones and those sort of things. However, Orca, good old Orca. How do you stop the human killer whale? Well, he looks at, actually always reminds me a bit of the Rhino character from the, obviously, Spider-Man. And he's got all the variety of various powers. And of course, he's pretty unstoppable until he, of course, battles against Submariner. And there's Krang, of course, the usual suspects all the way through it. But some really great artwork. Again, you've got Tiger Shark as well. And others. And this is a great one. Another one that looks sometimes, yeah, just the artwork occasionally sort of strikes as a different issue. Killed Cried the Raven. I found this slightly sad, this one. This has got Diane instead of obviously Lady Dorma. But it was a bit sad because the Red Raven really only had a very, very, very one appearance back in Red Raven comics, back in the 1940s. That was it. And then, of course, you had the X-Men story. And then this. That's it. I don't know if the Red Raven's come back or anything more with Red Raven, but it's just such a pity that they've never really. So there's always like characters you think they could have done a little bit more. Still. And the next one is the Kraken. Great artwork, and let's just go all the way through to the end now because I don't want to show everything. So Submariner and some brilliant bonus material. I love this. I don't know why it says World Colour Submariner. That's weird. They didn't put the hyphen in between. That one they did. That one, but that one they didn't. Very strange. Now, I always think of it as Namor. I must admit, I've always thought of Namor. So it's like Namor issue 1, Namor 2. Not really Submariner. I know Submariner's bigger there, but still. Everyone's the Epic collections, the list gets just longer and longer. I mean, really impressive. Then there's some really weird gaps. There's like volume 10. Now, there's volume 10 of Thor that they still haven't done. Also, of course, there hasn't been any more. I thought there was one listed. I remember reading somewhere, Marvel 2 and 1. Does anyone know about that? Because there wasn't volume 2 listed, I think, somewhere. Someone mentioned about volume 2. Still, unfortunately, no Silver Surfer volume 2, which is really odd, because there's great stories there to finish off. Now, they've gone with volume 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they're going through quite a lot, but they've completely forgotten about volume 2. And you've got Iron Man. You've got volume 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it stops. There's no 6 at the moment. Now, unfortunately, Master of Kung Fu, I think, licensing reasons. I don't know what's happened there, because there was at one point, there was going to be a volume 3, and then that disappeared. Does anyone know about that? What happened there? I really don't know. Very, very strange. Miss Marvel, you've got volume 1, volume 2. And then you go here, of course, you've got the Defenders. Now, Defenders, of course, the ones that I love. But they've only got one so far. I think maybe Defenders 2, 3. Hopefully at some point you'd think that they would come out. Doctor Strange, you've got volume 1, but still no volume 2. That's strange. That's very strange. Just because, of course, you've got the omnibus editions. You don't think they would have brought that out. Fantastic Four, you've got all the way through to, and then volume 8's the last one. And then you've got volume 9, 10, 11 still haven't come out. Daredevil, you got all the way through to, and then volume 6, that's Watch Out for Bullseye. And then volume 7, of course, we haven't got yet. I assume that's coming up to Frank Miller, 7 or 8, probably. Then you've got Avengers number 8. Sorry, Avengers, you've got all the way up to 8, 9, the Final Threat. I don't know if I got Final Threat. I might have. But that's it. And then Under Siege, volume 16. So there's quite a big gap there. Then you've got a very big gap between. You've got all the way through the Spider-Man, volume 1, all the way up to 9. And then there's volume 10. There's some weird gaps. Hopefully at some point they will actually finish all of them and bring out the Millie the Model and Linda Castle ones. Who knows? Possibly not. But still, Epic Collection, no more. This is just great. I love this volume.